What up guys, Maxske here and I'm bringing you a brand new Ekko YouTube video, and today's video is a discussion video about the upcoming Ekko buffs in patch 9.16. So because this is a discussion video, if you guys agree with me, disagree with me, leave it in the comments below. I'll reply to all the comments. That being said, I'm gonna tell you guys good news, bad news, horrible news, and then the great news at the end for patch 9.16. So let's get right into it.
Don't blink! All in. Just my style.
Alright guys, let's start out with the good news. And the good news is the Ekko buffs. So a couple of months ago, Ekko got that plus 3 AD buff and a little bit of mana removed on his E. Well now, in patch 9.16, Ekko's E is getting buffed by 10 base damage at all ranks. It's a pretty decent buff because obviously it helps his early game, mid game, and late game. Obviously you don't really feel 10 damage in the mid and late game, but in the early game, you will feel that 10 extra damage every time you're trading in lane. So it's a pretty good lane buff. Not too crazy where Ekko becomes like god tier, but it's that slight little buff that actually can help Ekko out in those trades. That's a pretty, decent buff there. The next thing that's getting buffed is Ekko's R. So Ekko's R's cooldown is being lowered by 10 seconds at rank 2 and then 20 seconds at rank 3. A couple of days ago, it was actually 20 seconds at rank 2 and rank 3, but I guess they nerfed the buff a couple of days ago, so now it's only 10 seconds at rank 2. That being said, by late game, you're saving 20 seconds on your ultimate. By mid game, you're saving 10 seconds on your ultimate. Is this a big buff? It's a pretty nice buff to mid and late game Ekko. The problem with this buff is that usually the games are over by the time you're level 16, so you won't really feel that 20-second cooldown reduction buff. But then again, if the game doesn't go to late game, you have a lot more windows to use your ultimate, which is really good. The level 11 power spike where you get your rank 2 ultimate, you'll feel, I guess 10 seconds is not bad. Hey, we'll take it, but it's not a damage buff. It's just like, if you waste your R or you get a good R or any type of R, you'll be able to get your R 10 seconds faster. And obviously with CDR, it'll be even better. So pretty nice buffs to Ekko. I think that the base damage on E is pretty good for early game laning, and then but falls off late game because 10 base damage doesn't really do anything late game. But the cooldown on the ultimate, that 20 seconds, is actually pretty significant late game. So they're pretty small, decent buffs to Ekko that don't really push him over the top, but give him a little bit of quality of life. So pretty nice Ekko buffs here. We'll take them, right? We'll take them. But the bad news is coming. So here is the bad news, guys. LeBlanc's Q is being buffed by 10% AP scaling, which means that LeBlanc's point and click Q will be doing 10% more damage to you. That is not nice. LeBlanc is really annoying for Ekko. You could beat her as Ekko, but it's just such an annoying lane because she has the range advantage, the damage advantage, the CC advantage, the dashing. You could kill her, but it's just so annoying to just get constantly poked and point and clicked on. It's really annoying. But yeah, LeBlanc's getting buffed. It's not a crazy buff, but it might revitalize a lot of LeBlanc players. And then another champion that you do not want to face as Ekko is Jax. Jax is getting a cooldown buff on his Q. So his Q is basically getting a 2-second cooldown buff. Not a crazy buff, but any buff towards Jax is not a good buff, because if people see a buff to Jax, they might start playing him more often, and Ekko just does terribly into Jax. Ekko does really bad into bruiser champions like Jax. And on top of that, Pantheon rework comes out, and Pantheon's another fighter bruiser champion now, and Pantheon's E blocks all damage. So if you're versing a Pantheon in lane and you're about to proc your passive, like your EQ combo, well, Pantheon could just press E and negate all your damage like Fiora. So watch out for that. So that's pretty bad news because Ekko did get buffed, but now you got 3 champions that might be super annoying to Ekko. But wait, there's more horrible news. And the horrible news is these 2 champions are being buffed. Kassadin, one of Ekko's most annoying cancerous lanes, is getting his W, his empowered auto attack W. Its base damage is being increased by 30 damage at all ranks. Do you understand? 30 damage at level 1 rank. Like, that's insane. So think about Ekko versus Cassian right now. Ekko got a 10 damage buff on his E, while Cassian has got a 30 damage buff on his W. So if you were to put Cassian versus Ekko right now, Cassian will be doing 20 more damage than you next patch. That is, like, Cassian's already a champion that you never want to face. He scales so hard. You do have a chance to beat him in the first 5 levels of the game before he hits level 6 with like a gank or you outplay him. But now he does even more damage. I don't know, like, horrible news. Like, there's so many champions to ban now. It's but wait, it gets even worse. Fiora is getting a massive buff. Another huge, if not one of the biggest Ekko counters in the game. Fiora is getting a huge buff. Her E attack speed is going from 50% at all ranks to 50 to 90%. And the cooldown is being lowered early game by a few seconds. This is another huge buff because it might also buff Fiora's popularity. So if you have Cassidy more popular, Fiora more popular, Jax more popular, LeBlanc more popular, now Pantheon's also going to be popular, and all these other champions that's really hard for Ekko, like Yasuo, Ryze, all these, like Kiana's actually like CC one-shotting. There's so many champions that just are bad for Ekko, which makes this patch might be like horrible if all these champions become like super popular meta. So that is the horrible news. How do you avoid the horrible news? Make sure your team bans all these champions. But wait, there is a silver lining. There is some really cool, great news that I didn't even know about, and here it is. So the greatest news of this patch, which I didn't even know about until I looked at the patch notes, because I didn't even see this mentioned anywhere, was the rework, buff, nerf to biscuit delivery. Maxske, why is biscuit delivery so good? I hate Inspiration Tree. Well, this is actually a huge rework that actually benefits Ekko. I think basically the biggest buff to Ekko in a long time, because this actually gives Ekko mana, which we all want. So basically, before biscuits were, you get a biscuit every 3 minutes, so 3, 6, 9, 12. You get 4 biscuits in total. It gives you 160 permanent mana because you get 40 mana permanently per biscuit, and on top of that, you heal for 15% of your missing HP and mana throughout the laning phase. But biscuits became pretty useless because you don't really need a biscuit after like the second one, because that becomes 9 minutes, 12 minutes. You don't really need a biscuit there. It becomes kind of useless, but now they reworked it. So now you get only 3 biscuits, but you get a biscuit at 2 minutes, at 4 minutes, and at 6 minutes, which means now each one only heals for 10% of your missing mana and HP, which is fine. So, you heal less, which is good. Less sustain is good for the game because you don't want people as perma healing, but it gives you 50 mana per eating it, which means that by 6 minutes you'll have 150 bonus mana on Ekko, whereas with mana flow ban you would have to fully stack it for 10 minutes or whatever, or the old biscuits where you would have to get only 160 mana by 12 minutes. But now at the 6 minute mark, probably before you even level 6, you will have basically a Sheen 150 mana. That is insane. That means you won't struggle with mana throughout the laning phase anymore. That is huge. But on top of that, you're also healing, which means that you could trade more because you're healing more often. And on top of that, you'll also have biscuits, which means that you'll gain more mana and all that stuff, which is actually pretty sick. I'm really excited for this buff. I think this buff could make Ekko a pretty decent early game champion in terms of just constantly trading. Wrap it up with Time Warp Tonic, and I think it'll be a really good buff to Ekko. So I'll have an economics video out this weekend. I'll be testing out this new biscuit delivery buff and the Ekko buffs and the scary, horrible Fiora and Cassidy buffs. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.